everyone, back to PommyInOz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, do me a favour, hit that like button, that subscribe. We've got an absolute ripping video for you today. What we've got is we're going to take a deep dive into the concessions that has been made for the Tasmanian Devils, and then try and give you a working comparison of how they may look to build a list as if it was done last trade period. So that way it gives you a good understanding of what it looks like, how it could play out, and the options available to Tasmanian Devils, but also how that would affect the league as a whole. So without any further ado, grab your sen, nice cup of tea, sit your sen down, let's go through it together. So as we can see, the AFL has announced the rules. So what we've done is we've broken it down to all the rules that we do know, and then we've given some real life applications. So let's look at the first one. So the first one, as you can see on your screen, access to uncontracted players as free agents across 2 trade periods. A maximum of 1 player from each club, with the clubs that lose players to be given draft compensation picks. So what we've tried to do here to try and make it easier as a working example, we tried to work through delisted players and players that were given away in like token trade deals. So if we go to the last year's trade period, what we tried to look at is try and give you a real like comparison of players that were in contract, players that were traded for token gestures, and then players disted. Try and give them a nice range, age, experience, them token picks where you're trying to see if someone's made a mistake, but also some for now picks, and then some others. So what we've done is we've gone Jackson Pryor. I think a real solid player, real AFL standard. We know he's been since picked up. In this theory, though, we're going to imagine that because Tasmania have got some other rules, they've really attracted it. We've got Jack Carroll and David Cunningham. So these are big ones here, but I think Jack Carroll, one of them players that if you were a new franchise club, you definitely look at in the terms of he's young, he's kind of shown a little bit, deserves a second chance, went to St Kilda. David Cunningham, when you are building a list, I think it's really okay to take these injury punt players, because if you can get 12, 15 games out of David Cunningham, you're well on your way. Brent Collingwood's Nathan Kruger, I think a player that genuinely is AFL bog standard at his ceiling. But when you've got the young players coming in, what that does is it allows you to really focus on development. And if you can get ahead of Kruger, you're winning. Then we're taking a punt on Kane Baldwin and Nick Hines. So Nick Hines, I feel, has something to offer a team that has no players in this scenario. So AFL bog standard again. Kane Baldwin, someone that has flirted with going down back. Potentially there's someone that can play 12 games a year as we use our draft picks and our concessions to build a better list. Gary Rowan, so he did get delisted, but I think AFL experience straight away. He's ready-made. It's a year stopgap as we put that in. And then same what we said about David Cunningham for Brendan Parfitt. Brandon Ellis, so he retired because no contract offer. This would be one there that's a leadership-type recruitment, someone that's going to be AFL standard, a year or 2 years. We're going to have a lot of young lists when we come over standard. Bring him in. Ethan Phillips, VFL legend, someone that is state league caliber. For me, we're going to be playing in the VFL. So in this scenario, we can't replicate being in the VFL earlier. But in this here, he's a VFL signing that can potentially play in the AFL and give us something. But development signing. Ben Brown, Tasmanian boy, he did retire. In this scenario, chance to play for Tasmania for a year or 2. Definite AFL borderline caliber player, but gives us something competitive for now, along with Adam Tomlinson. Competitive now, gives us something. See, North Melbourne have recruited him for their VFL, real VFL standard, AFL standard player that will help our kids come through. Taking some punts on on Tom Cleary here, AFL standard player, went delisted. Played a lot of games. We've got to try and build a culture here. He helps do that. Ollie Horton, James Van Es, Jai Cully, and Jack Darling. So Jack Darling went for a token pick with no contract offer. We've snapped in there. AFL experience, 2-year deal, help bring them on. Ollie Horton, James Van Es. Constantly injured Ollie Horton, but high ceiling. James Van Es, definitely someone that can learn and compete with our younger core. And then Harry Boyd, Marjorie medal winner. We would have got him before St Kilda. We would have got him there. Got a ruckman there. We've got our ruckman ready for the next 5, 6, 7 years. We've really sorted that problem area out. So if we look at how that looks as a list, we'd have 18 spots filled thus far, 44 to fill, and we've used our concessions there, had a little bit of fun with it. So obviously the original rules were one from every club. We've also, you see there, taken players that have been delisted by other clubs as well to try and make that fair and give a comparison. Then 10 first-round picks over 3 years, 6 in the first year. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 are the ones that are announced. I know that there is 7 there. 6 there. I know that there is a caveat there. So the caveat there is that they've got to be traded, some of them. And a sign-on bonus of more than $1 million to attract talent. So what we've done here is we've tried to piggyback on deals. So we've paid a little bit more for Bailey Smith, but we've also got more cash there. Trying to get dogs to do business with us. Remember, it's a selling club's priority. We've come in there, given them some really high-value picks. Potentially a late first, if you count that future second, if they base us finish rock bottom, and 11, and we're paying Bailey Smith a lot more than long. Obviously, this is hypothetical, but that's what we've done. He's 9 and 13 and had some seconds come back, similar to the deal that Hawthorn did. We've jumped into Tom Barras deal. Now, remember, this dragged out. If Tasmania are involved in that deal when they were there, I reckon some of these deals that were delayed have been opportunities. So we've gone there, we've paid Tom Barras a bit more, we've given him some real good incentives that he's going to be a main man to get in front of Hawthorn. And then we've used a future second and a later pick to acquire Matthew Owes and Matt Kennedy. Matt Kennedy, for me, is a huge priority if I was Tasmania in last year. Someone that is AFL standard, that has been underutilised, but could really be an on-ball guy straight away. Matt Owes, workhorse, right? So, as we can see there, we've looked there, we've attracted the talent. Now, let's have a look at how that would make this team look now, right? So, let's have a look, see how that would make this team look now. So, as you can see, got 22 spots filled. The players there, Bailey Smith comes in, Tom Barras, Matt Kennedy, Matt Owes. So, halfway through, you've already got 22 players. So, we need to now start topping this up. So, the AFL would give us access to Tasmanian father-sons, Tasmanian academy zones, and multiple Tasmanian prospects from the 2026 draft that will play in the VFL. So obviously we can't replicate that because we're not in the VFL. So what we're going to try and show you there is players that are early. So examples here, Nathan Salzberger, Oliver De Pauli-Kubank, Lenny Douglas and Ollie Dean were all very solid performers that were probably unlucky to be drafted because of the way the AFL works. The next cabs off the rank. We've pre-selected them in that draft. We've got Tasmanian talent in. And then looking ahead, we've gone with 3 top picks for next year's draft class to get them in now to the VFL. So we've taken Jasper Hay, Jay Clark and Riley McHenry, 3 very talented footballers who probably will go, in my opinion, in the first 4 rounds of the AFL draft. We've got them off the books. They're locked and loaded. We can't select them for the AFL. They're underage. They're in the VFL now learning our system. And some of the senior players we've got are going to hopefully aid their development. So you can see now we've gone to 26 because we recruited 4 players for the now. The 2026 boys aren't technically on our list ready for the AFL. So we've got Salzberger there, De Pauli-Kubank, Lenny Douglas, Oliver Dean. We've got a replacement tall. We've got a replacement ruck. We've got some mid-forwards there. Potentially, I could see Salzberger as well being a very quite ball-using halfback as well. I saw that in there. We've got a real solid boundary at the minute. Now, the next ones are, we've said, pre-list up to 10 17-year-olds. We've got 10 first-round picks, which we've covered. So we've done our pre-listed players who are 17 years old already. We've got 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Remember, in this scenario with 9, 11, 13, I think the AFL will say 3 of these you've got to trade. And then we've got start of second concession. So we've predicted 19, best pick, and then the pick after the poor teams, 24, 25, 26. And we also get access to mid-season draft and rookie selection. So we looked at the draft as it was. So pick 3, Carlton took Jagger Smith. We've gone the same, right? I think they would have had that pick in this case before West Coast. I think Richmond and North are in a lot worse position. Eagles have got some real strong caliber players. And I think in reality, they probably wouldn't have traded that pick if it's there. But we're going to go Jagger Smith, generational talent. The man that's my personal favourite in that pick in the terms of talent. I did look at Sid Draper, but I think Tasmanian Devils don't want X Factor. We want reliability. First pick has to be our safest. Jagger Smith for me is the safest selection out of that pick. Sam went for him. Finn O'Sullivan, who went after him. Feel like they're ceiling players. We want the Mr. Reliable. 5, we went Harvey Langford. So because we ignored Sam, we involved Sid Draper. We've gone that generational talent. Hard runner, a guy who's ready to play now, can play across half forward and play there. Then we took a punt, Alex Tyree. Exciting backman. I'll look at what we're trying to do. And our backmen, I feel like we've got some who are ready now. I don't think we've got some who are long-term prospects. So Alex Tyree comes in, the modern-day intercepting. We've gone Matt Whitlock and Jack Whitlock, trying to create that synergy, that reliability. We would have picks here that were able to get in front. Jesse Tatoli, forward who can play a little bit in the midfield. Really exciting. We've jumped through for him. And then 26, because we've got all of our pillars fixed, gone Tom Gross. Tom Gross straight away. We're really happy with that. We've got a midfielder that potentially can grow with us. And I would be really happy with that draft haul. Obviously, there would be other picks after that. For the sake of this, we can't tell what the AFL will do. We're trying to do it based on we haven't come into the system yet. 2025 is our first season, so we're using the 2024 draft. In the rookie, they've said that we will get priority access, so we just hand-picked players here. Max Noble, I think, would have been a no-brainer, a rook who gives us a little bit of flexibility with Harry Boyd. We've gone Ben Patton, gone AFL experience, Jack Henderson, Don Brew, Braden Crossley. We've got a rook ready now. We needed a backup rook ready now. Harry Boyd's going to be our lead. Don Brew, I felt like was unlucky not to be picked up in the AFL draft. I'm willing to take the chance because he can play inside midfield, be a pain in the bum. We want AFL ready players now. I'm willing to give him the chance. Then to try and replicate MSD, we've gone Liam McMahon, Flynn Gentile, Isaac Winder, and Arjun Kulmun. Prospective picks here. Prospective picks, the best players that weren't taken in the VFL. We've gone with that. We've tried to get the best state league players here, ready-made experience to protect these young kids so we're not playing them in games. And then the surplus budget, we're allowed to compensate teams back to the first rule. We needed a captain. We've gone hard at Lockie Weller from Gold Coast. We've gone hard. Got Lockie Weller in here. And in the pre-list section, because we're allowed to pre-list players now from anywhere in that role, as long as they're born in the first 6 months of the year, we've pre-listed the best players we see, up to 10. Lewis Emmett, Ollie Greaves, Jack Dalton, Cody Curtin, Thomas Burton. We've taken them off the board, right? We've ignored players like Danny Annabelle and players like that because we can't get them in, right? We can't get them in. So if you look there, that is pretty much the list filled, right? So we have added, our list now looks like Jackson Pryor, Jack Carroll, David Cunningham, Nathan Kruger, Kane Baldwin, Nick Hind, Gary Rowan, Brandon Parfit, Brendan Ellis, F.E. Phillips, Ben Brown, Adam Tomlinson, Tom Cleary, Ollie Houghton, James Van Ness, Jai Cully, Jack Darling, Harry Boyd, Bailey Smith, Tom Barras, Matt Kennedy, Matt Owie, Nathan Sulzberger, Paulie Kubank, Lenny Douglas, Charlie Dean, Jagger Smith, Harvey Langford, Alex Tyree, Matt and Jack Whitlock, Jesse Tatoli, Tom Gross, Matt Noble, Ben Patton, Jack Henderson, Don Brew, Braden Crossley, McMahon, Gentile, Isa Winder, Cool, and got Lockie Weller in. And we've secured our future as well with some movement to play. So that is what it looks like. Let me know in the chat what you think Tasmania should do and how that looks. Let me know what you thought of the video. Hopefully you get a better understanding of how that might look when it's played in the future. Till next time, I'm out.
Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it